Hello and a very warm welcome to all students of Europe Hotel School. My background is in the fascinating world where hospitality operations meet artificial intelligence, and I'm really excited to be here to guide you on your online learning journey. We're all here to support your professional growth. So today, we're going to dive into what is, without a doubt, one of the most critical and honestly one of the most underestimated periods for any new hotel or restaurant, those first 90 days of operation. This quote, right here, it gets straight to the heart of the issue. You see, it's so easy to think of a grand opening as the finish line, but it's not. It's not a victory lap, it's the start of a crucial stabilization phase. The habits you set in these first few weeks, everything from service standards to cost control, they literally become the DNA of your business. And just like the slide says, if you let small issues go unchecked, they become these deep-rooted habits that are incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible, to correct later on. So the big question is, how do you navigate this period successfully? Well, we've broken it down into 5 key areas. First, we're going to define this critical window. Then we'll uncover a really dangerous trap called the performance blind spot. After that, we'll get practical and build the essential performance dashboard, and I'll show you how to put it into action with something called the daily huddle. And finally, we'll tie it all together to show you the path from launch to longevity. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, section 1, the critical window. Now, this isn't just about surviving those chaotic opening weeks. It's about a fundamental, almost psychological shift that a leader has to make. It's the shift from opening the business to operating the business successfully, day in and day out. This slide illustrates that mental pivot perfectly. Before your opening day, your entire world is project management, right? It's all about timelines, construction, buying things. But the second those doors open, your job title, your very identity has to change. You are no longer a project manager. You are a performance manager. Your focus has to shift completely to results, to key performance indicators, and to the relentless daily execution of your plan. And, that leads us directly into our next section, the performance blind spot. This is that danger zone where these small, seemingly insignificant issues start to pile up, often silently, until they become major threats to your profitability. So how do you avoid this blind spot? Well, the single most powerful tool you have is benchmarking. I want you to think of this as a non-negotiable discipline. It means you stop looking at your numbers in a vacuum. Instead, you have to rigorously compare your actual performance against 2 key things: your own pre-opening forecasts, what you said you were going to do, and established industry best practices. It's really the only way to get an objective, honest look at the health of your operation. This chart just makes it crystal clear. Let's use a real-world example. Say your business plan forecasted a cost of goods sold at 32%. Okay, great. But after 1 month, you look at the books and your actual number is 37%. Now, to an untrained eye, 5% might not seem like a total disaster, but to a true performance manager, that is a massive red flag. That's a direct hit to your bottom line every single day. Is it waste in the kitchen? Is it poor portion control? Is it a problem with your vendor's pricing? Without benchmarking, you wouldn't even know to start asking these critical questions. So, if benchmarking is the practice, what's the tool? Well, that brings us to our third section, your performance dashboard. I want you to think of this as the flight deck of your entire operation. It's the central hub where all your critical data flows, and it's organized around 3 fundamental pillars. The first and really the most foundational pillar is, of course, financial performance. This is the bedrock. It's the pure, unfiltered measure of your operation's profitability and its overall health. Everything flows from here. On your financial dashboard, these are the absolute non-negotiables. You're tracking top-line revenue, of course, and that includes metrics like revenue per available seat hour, or RevPAR. But critically, you have to become obsessed with your prime costs, your cost of goods, and your labor. Notice the industry standard targets here. A deviation from these benchmarks, even a small one, isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's an urgent call to action. Now let's move on to our second pillar, operational efficiency. If finance is the result, then operations is the engine that produces that result. This pillar measures how smoothly and effectively your team is actually running the complex machine that is your business. So on the operational dashboard, we're measuring things like speed, average ticket times, table turnover. We're also measuring control. Are your void and discount rates creeping up? That could be a red flag for theft or maybe a sign of training issues. And so importantly, inventory accuracy. If your physical count at the end of the month doesn't match what the system says you should have, well, you have a serious control problem, and it is literally bleeding cash from your business. Our third and final pillar is arguably the one that drives all the others: guest and staff satisfaction. As future leaders, I want you to please never forget this. Your financial and operational numbers are simply the lagging indicators of the human experience you create. That's for your guests and, just as importantly, for your team. So we track this pillar relentlessly. You're monitoring your Net Promoter Score, your guest satisfaction scores, online reviews every single day. But look at that second metric, staff stability. A sudden spike in your employee turnover rate is one of the most powerful leading indicators you have. It tells you that there are cultural or operational problems long before they ever show up in your financial reports. And of course, safety is always a non-negotiable metric. Okay, so now you have this powerful dashboard full of data. But let's be honest, data is useless if it just sits there. It requires a system for action. And this brings us to what might be the most practical and impactful part of this entire framework: the daily huddle. I want you to remember this number: 15 minutes. That is it. This is not another long, drawn-out meeting that everyone dreads. It is a brief, intense, stand-up huddle with your leadership team every single day. The entire goal is speed, focus, and decisiveness. The process is just beautifully simple and incredibly powerful. Step 1, you review yesterday's dashboard. Step 2, as a team, you isolate the single most critical KPI failure. I want to stress that. You don't try to solve 10 problems. You find the one that matters most right now. And step 3, you assign an immediate, measurable corrective action to a specific leader with a clear deadline. This daily rhythm of data, diagnosis, and action, that is the engine of continuous improvement. And you know, this disciplined approach brings us to our final section, which really ties everything together. We're moving beyond the tactics of just being a manager and into the mindset that defines true leadership in this industry. I really want you to pay close attention to this quote. This rigor, this relentless discipline of data-driven performance management, it's not just a good idea. It is the defining characteristic of elite hospitality leaders. It is the deep commitment to replacing guesswork with data and replacing hope with a strategic plan of action. This philosophy is the absolute foundation of modern hospitality leadership. So let's just recap the path forward. It all begins with adopting that performance-first mindset. From there, you build and religiously use a daily KPI dashboard that covers our 3 pillars. You benchmark relentlessly against your goals and the industry, and you use that daily huddle to drive immediate data-backed action. This is the proven formula for transforming a successful launch into sustainable, long-term profitability. I'll leave you with this final thought. The habits you build, the standards you enforce, and the data-driven discipline you instill in these first 90 days, well, they're going to echo for years to come. We know the numbers matter. The only question left is, are you ready to lead by them? Thank you.